Welcome to Truth, Money, and Freedom. Today is Friday, April 5th, 2019. I have with me today Amrican Man 1967, and he brought to my attention a California anti-gun bill, or actually several of them. We'll, of course, link this story down below. But we wanted to bring this to your attention because well, frankly, there's a lot of bills here, and one I'm going to take advantage of to read to you is the first paragraph of this particular webpage. This week, the Assembly and State Public Safety Committee and Assembly Appropriations Committee all heard several firearm-related bills. Assembly 1297, allowing for increased fees for concealed carry permits. I'm outlining that right now. We're going to talk about that. And AB 893, banning gun shows at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, are both eligible for votes on the Assembly floor. Use the Take Action button below. Da-de-da. This is through the NRA. Um, well, I'm not going to go through all these bills right now. I think Amrican Man's going to do some more on these individual bills. But I'd like to concentrate on the increased fees for concealed carry permits. Amrican Man, welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight. And let's talk about the increased fees for concealed carry permits. What are your feelings on that?
Well, to be honest with you, I believe that this right here is a prime example of what's going on in our country. And I believe this is political pressure on people who sell guns, people who want to buy guns, people who want to carry concealed guns. The Second Amendment is under attack at every angle right now. And this should be a prime example for Americans, especially people in California, to pay attention to what's going on. I want to encourage you to go to this article. I want you to read it in depth, in detail, study it for yourself, click on that button, and take action to fight for your civil rights.
Okay, I'm going to throw in my 2 cents. By the way, thank you for that. I want to talk a little bit specifically about the concealed carry permits. A well-armed society is a polite society, and concealed carry is a wonderful thing because no one knows who's carrying. That means criminals don't know who's carrying. They're much less likely to engage in criminal activity when they're surrounded by the public and they don't know who's armed. So, increasing fees, let's just call it a tax, increased taxes for concealed carry permits doesn't make sense to me because it seems to me they're trying to discourage concealed permits. Is that kind of the way you read it, Amrican Man?
Exactly. It's
Oh,
exactly what they're trying to do. And they're trying to charge, up to what for everything they can get taxes on. For example, people who apply for a gun, people who apply for a gun permit, people who are trying to buy ammunition, people who are trying to buy magazines. Every aspect of this whole subject, this whole issue, especially California, they're trying to hike prices up to discourage people from wanting to be involved with this industry, to own these weapons, to go to gun shows, to display their wares, uh, right down to the price of ammunition. You in California have to apply to get a permit to even buy ammunition. I think in California, and if I'm wrong, fact check me. But I mean, it's getting so ridiculous where you can't fart without the government wanting to tax you for it. Excuse my expression, but I'm very angry over this whole subject.
well, I am too, and I feel bad for you guys in California. Being in Missouri here, I'm still on cloud nine with all the activity going on here and all the freedom going on here and all the liberty-loving people fighting for their rights out here. But I do realize California is a blue state, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, it's filled with a lot of snowflakes. And forgive me if I offend anyone by saying that, but there's a lot of anti-gun folks out there. And if they could only experience what it's like to be in Missouri, where we have concealed carry and we have almost no crime, violent crime that is. So we still have
and
the basic
I'm
kind
sorry,
of.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, I apologize for being rude. But can you explain to the listeners exactly what this bill in Missouri is all about in detail as quickly as possible? And then I want to explain to people what's going on in Chicago and why it's happening.
Sure. In Missouri, the bill is, oh boy, I can't remember the number, 896 or something like that, or I can't remember. But it's a bill that basically in Missouri takes away any and all federal regulations on firearms that are not compliant with the Second Amendment. So, for instance, you guys just got your magazine capacities back after, shoot, when did you get your magazine capacities taken away? 2013, I think. And
Yeah, I think so. We just got them back about 3, 4 days ago, and
yep,
now California refiled to take it back away from us again.
yep. So in the case of that, those if a federal law came out like that, Missouri wouldn't follow it. So
Right.
things along those now I got a lot of people commenting on my last video saying, does that mean we get to have fully automatic machine guns? I'm not sure about that. I don't think that if it is possible to have a fully automatic machine gun, that would surprise me. But okay, so keeping that in mind, basically when you have a state with, dare I say the word, liberal gun laws like we have here in Missouri, which is very lax laws on on firearms, we have lower crime. It's just a fact. It
Yeah.
just happens. When you have places like Washington, D.C. and Chicago, Illinois, where they have the strictest gun laws in the nation, they have the most crime by far. It's very noticeable, in fact. In
Right.
Chicago, where it's so strict, I have a friend who lives in Cook County. He's not in Chicago proper. He's in Cook County, but he is a friend of mine. We went to high school together. We still keep in touch, and he has a 45. And he reported to me that he has to pay, I think he said it was $75 a year tax to be able to keep that weapon.
Wow.
So basically, let's look at it this way. Probably take him about 6 years, and he could buy another one with the tax he has to pay. And also, it's registered. By the way, you have to register your weapons in Cook County, is what he told me. Now, I don't live in
Right.
Cook County, so I'm going off of what he told me. So if this information is incorrect, then I apologize. But that's what strict gun laws are. Basically, registration of weaponry, and then once you register it, they know you have it. You got to pay a tax for it every single year. Now, that's why I'm concerned about increased taxes for concealed carry permits being in a bill in California, because as we all know in the real world, they increase taxes on cigarettes and alcohol to discourage use. Well, when they're
Right.
increasing taxes on concealed carry permits, they're discouraging people from getting concealed carry permits because it's starting to cost more money. And you have to renew those
Right.
every so often. In Missouri, I think it's every 6 years you renew your concealed carry permit. Um, and it's quite minimal. It's not too bad. It depends on the county. I think in my county, it's $125 every 6 years to renew your concealed carry permits. But that's the maximum by state law that a sheriff's office can charge for those concealed carry permits. I, I'm familiar with most counties in Missouri, and most of them are literally $75. That's the average in Missouri. I just have a greedy sheriff, is what I got. But at the same time,
Okay.
I don't consider that excessive for a 6 year permit. Um,
Agreed.
so 125 bucks is not bad. So, but that's my point on this. And like I said, I'm not going to go through all these with American Man right now. There's a lot of assembly bills here, but American Man's going to probably tackle them one by one in some separate podcasts, so you guys can get more information on those. But be aware of what's going on. And by the way, we showed you in the last video, and we'll link it up at the end in the description on this one, how you can start a petition in your state to actually get a
Right.
bill, get a bill started. Guys, don't wait for someone else to do it. Do it yourselves. Anyone can start a petition to get a bill started. And I know in my last video I was late and I was excited and I kept saying sign the bill, sign the bill. It was a petition, it wasn't a bill. But you guys, I hopefully you guys knew what I meant. But these petitions signed by people in your state have weight. They actually have
Right.
weight. Now, that doesn't mean your judges can't say, "Oh, we're not going to let that one go through. That's illegal," or whatever. But at least give it a good college try, because
Push back.
yeah, push back. And if it gets to the point where your government's so corrupt you can't get anything done, anything that's right, that's moral and just, then you stop paying your taxes because that's how you really starve the
Amen,
beast.
brother.
You know?
Um,
Go ahead.
may I jump in here real quick here,
Sure.
TC? I want to remind the listeners of something that's very important, and please pay close attention to what I'm about to share with you. All these liberal soy boys, and if I offend you, I'm not like TC. I don't care. Anybody who's against the Second Amendment needs to go see a shrink. But I'm going to say this real quick, and I hope you're not upset with me for what I just said. Um, the CDC, that's the Center for Disease Control, okay, even against President Obama when he was in administration, has done studies. And those studies prove, and this is scientific, right? Scientifically have shown counties, cities, and states who have more guns and less gun control bills have less crime and less death or murders or suicides by gun. Period. End of story. That's scientific. You can go to the CDC website and look that up yourself.
Yep.
I'm done.
Okay, gotcha. And thank you for that. And I tend to agree with that. The Second Amendment is how you keep your First Amendment. And your
Right.
First Amendment, of course, is your most important amendment in the Constitution. The Bill of Rights is very, very critically important. But the Second Amendment is how you make sure you keep all your freedoms. Don't let them take away your
Right.
Second Amendment rights. Don't let them go at them a little bit at a time, incrementally, until you have nothing left at the end. You need to fight all of this stuff. People of California, I'm talking to you. I'm not saying join
Right.
the NRA. I'm not saying that. In fact, I got my issues with them too. I am a member. I'm at full disclosure, but I have issues with them too. You guys have the power. You don't need the NRA to start a petition to get a bill started in your state. Get support.
Right.
There's a lot of freedom-loving people in California whose voices are not being heard. It's time to stand up and be heard. Get that petition
Right.
going. I will promise you at the bottom of this in the description, we'll have a link to where you can start a petition again. The Missouri petition is very important too. I'll put the Missouri petition in there, and at the bottom of the Missouri petition, there's a link to start your own.
Right.
Please sign the Missouri petition if you're in Missouri, and if you're in a different state, start your own petition, gang. Let's take our country back. And it starts with you getting a petition to get literally some kind of bill started. You know,
Amen. And can I add one more thing, TC, before
sure,
we go?
absolutely,
I would like to say this. I know I'm a little rough, a little brazen around the edges, and for that, that's just me being me, guys. But I want to say this, and what that is, listen, this has nothing to do with politics. It really doesn't. When it comes down to it, the Constitution and your civil rights are a God given right. It has nothing to do with left or right. It has to do with common sense. If you can't defend yourself, it's simple. You're going to become a victim. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next year, but sooner or later, you could become a victim. And I just want to end by saying that.
yep, that's very powerful. Thank you very much. That's correct. If you cannot defend yourself, you're always a victim. And if the government takes away your ability to defend yourself, you are in constant state of victimhood. That's all you
Right.
can be. That's what the government left you with. If the purpose behind taking away guns is so that only police and sheriff's deputies and the government has guns, believe me, you don't have freedom anymore. And most sheriffs, most police chiefs are very much in favor of the Second Amendment. Go talk to them yourself. Go to your local sheriff and your local police department. Ask them if they support the Second Amendment. Ask them if they approve of the citizenry being armed. Most of them will say yes. Yeah, I realize there are some of them that'll say no. Trust me, I get that. Most of them, though, are in 100% agreement with the Second Amendment. It's important, people. Take action, start a petition, and don't let the legislature in California tell you what your rights are. Your rights are already enshrined in the Constitution. Don't let them take them away. And if, by the way, if they are successful, and if you cannot get this stopped, move to a state where you have the rights. I mean, that's a beautiful thing about the United States of America. If they take away your rights in California, get out of California. You can go to Missouri or Texas, any other state that actually does have reasonable, gun laws on the books, and they're not taking your rights. But that's our message for tonight. We're just making you aware of these issues in California. We're going to encourage you to sign the Missouri petition if you live in Missouri. If you do not, please start one in your state. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave them below. I try very hard to answer all of them. And for now, and from American Man and from yours truly, Timmy Chonga, we wish you all a pleasant evening. God bless you all.